I'm in my auto trial environment right here, and this is going to be one of the environments that you'll be provided with if you take one of our instructor-led courses on the education website, if you have one of our education passes. So I have this education Metromart dashboard right here. I'm just going to go ahead and open it up. In the top right, we have this icon right here that's auto answers. So when we click on it, you'll notice that mine is already pinned. You can actually unpin this, which makes it easier to close in and out of. But I'm just going to go ahead and keep it pinned. Okay, so you can see some suggested questions down here that we can click on. I'm going to go ahead and click on this first one right here. What is the average profit per category? And when you click on that, you'll see that the question automatically populates into auto answers. And you can see that it responds with the following, where it shows the average profit per category is as follows. And it gives us this handy visualization right here. And we can see that beverages has the highest average profit at $7. So how did Otto come up with this answer? Well, we can actually see the steps that it took by clicking on this icon right here, which is the interpretation icon. When we click on that, you can see that Otto has interpreted our question as state the average profit for each category using the following components, category and average profit, which is a derived metric based on the average of the profit metric. And this is a really great feature because viewing the interpretation really affirms the logic and criteria used to generate the response. And this is particularly helpful if your question contains any ambiguities. This helps you build trust and confidence in Otto's responses. Furthermore, we can actually see the SQL that was generated by the large language model. When we click here on this copy LLM instructions, we can paste it into our question box down here. And we can see that this is the actual SQL that the LLM has generated that allowed MicroStrategy AI to fetch the proper response and generate this visualization. When we submit this into our question box, you can see that it generated the same exact visualization because this is what it did beforehand. And this really allows you to verify responses because there really is no room for interpretation in the SQL statement. For each question that you ask without clearing the chat, AutoAnswers uses the conversation history as context. If you don't need the conversation history as context for a question, it is best practice to clear the chat to avoid complexities and improve performance. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so let's say you're having a hard time remembering the data included in your dataset. In the question box, let's go ahead and type what data is available for me to analyze. And then go ahead and press enter. And you'll see here that Auto responds with a summary of the attributes and metrics included in the dataset. So Auto summary of the dataset reminds you that you wanted to explore performance by store number. In the question box, type which store number has the best performance. You'll notice that as I was typing the question, there were some suggestions that popped up. So let me go ahead and redo that. So which store, and you can see that this store number suggestion pops up right here. And this is actually the store number attribute from our semantic layer. By clicking on this, it ensures that there is alignment between our question and the semantic graph, and this leads to more precise answers. So let me finish the question. Has the best performance? And All Answers analyzes the request and displays an answer, indicating that store number 18 had the best performance with a profit of 6,716. So now you can see that there's this did you mean box that appeared. So because our question has the best performance, this is actually a little bit ambiguous. The question didn't really specify what is meant by performance. In our scenario, AutoAnswers chose to respond using profit to indicate performance. However, when AutoAnswers identifies an ambiguous question, it also provides the suggestions with its answer. In this case, Auto's answers suggest refining your question to ask about the highest revenue or most units sold. So since you wanted to know which store had the highest revenue, under the Did You Me suggestion, go ahead and click Highest Revenue. And you can see that the question, which store number has the highest revenue, is submitted, and AutoAnswers gives us this answer. And notice that Auto Answers actually learns from our responses. In the scenario, Auto learned that when you ask about best performance, you actually mean highest revenue. And in the future, when you ask about performance, Auto Answers knows to generate its response based on revenue. And this learning applies at the user level rather than for all users of the dashboard. If you don't want Auto Answers to use revenue every time you ask about performance, go ahead and click on this forget right here so that Auto does not remember this learning. Okay, now let's say that you're interested in how other stores compare to each other. In the question box, type show me a visualization comparing revenue across store number. Okay, so now that we have a response, we can see that there's actually a lot of condensing here in this visualization, and we actually want to see the full thing. So in order to do this, all we have to do is click on this icon down here to maximize it. And this maximizes our answer. And we can see here that the entirety of the textual response is displayed when we click on this See More button right here. And just as a footnote in this answer, you can also see the interpretations as well as copy the text. Let's go ahead and close it. So you're wondering why store numbers 18 revenue is so high. In the question box, go ahead and type, why does store number 18 have a high revenue? Okay, and so we can see that Auto has responded to us with this key driver visualization explaining the factors contributing to store number 18's revenue. And to learn more about key driver analysis, take the course Advanced Analyses with Auto Answers in the AI-enabled Business Intelligence Learning Path.